9:30 here at KCIM. That means KCIM Sports Rewind on the air with Sports Director Jeff Blank, Director Casey Miners. I'm John Ryan. We should probably start today by welcoming in one very special listener down Missouri way this morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Tyler Bruner. Familiar name here.
Yeah. Well, not familiar really on Rewind because, you never get out of bed in time to make it.
Yeah, our previous assistant sports director moved on. And by the way, congratulations.
Yes, absolutely.
Just got engaged.
Yes.
So congratulations,
I saw him over the Thanksgiving weekend, and I wish I would have known when I saw him that he was engaged, because I went back home, and after I got done, I saw him at Walmart with his mom and his fiance, and I went back home, and I got on Facebook, and I saw that he was engaged, and I was like, wow, what's the timing on that?
Yeah. If you'd have looked at it while you were, you'd have been able to congratulate him. But congratulations. We just got to give him a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years you were here? You couldn't get up by 9:30 any of those days?
I think we got him in
ridiculous.
Here twice. I think twice.
One time you were gone and we made him come in.
Yes.
But now he listens every week at 9:30.
Somehow he's got this job where he gets up in the morning now.
Apparently he's got a real job, not a radio job anymore. So, all right, so let's get to it. The national championship is set now. The playoffs are set, and the bowl challenge is out. Jeff, you put together this for all the coaches and all the media folks here at Carroll Broadcasting, and I tell you, it is a hard one to get a handle on with the quarterbacks going into the portal and things like that. But let's start with the Final Four. Agree, disagree? What do you think?
I did. I was frustrated when I saw Alabama get in for this reason only. I'm not an SEC guy. It would have been awesome to see no SEC teams in the playoffs for once. I think the debate comes down to two things. One, do you take most deserving, or do you take what you think of the four best teams? Now, the four best teams is subjective because your four best teams might be different than my four best teams and different. So, but that's why you put a committee together to come up with, their idea and stuff. But, you feel for Florida State. They did everything. If their quarterback doesn't get injured, they're in. I'm not a Stephen A. Smith fan, but I did like a comment that he actually had made. I saw it on Twitter last night that if Deion Sanders was the coach at Florida State, I guarantee you they're in the postseason, even with the loss of their quarterback. They don't leave him out, and Alabama is then probably out. But, if you're going to take the four best teams, I don't think anybody can rightfully say that with Florida State's injury situation that they're probably one of the four best teams. Now, they won all of their games. They've got a great defense. They probably deserved a chance to prove, especially with a month to get their quarterback prepped and ready to go.
I think if you look at the Florida State situation, they were even on their third string in the ACC championship game.
And still won.
Their backup had a concussion, so he has a month, to prepare. He was even a game time decision. So if they were to play their Final Four game against Michigan like this Saturday, I think he goes. So I think Florida State's deserving, but as you said, with their quarterback situation, are they one of the four best teams?
But the last time somebody played a backup quarterback in the postseason, Ohio State went on to beat Alabama and then win a national championship. So you get programs like a Florida State, like Ohio State. It's not like they have a walk-on or a two-star quarterback as their backup. Generally, there's pretty good depth at those positions.
I think Florida State got jobbed on this whole thing because they didn't get in because of an injury report.
Right.
If they would have had their starting quarterback, they would have put him in in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But they got burned because one player got hurt.
Yeah.
And that was it, I think.
Yeah.
So Alabama, I didn't, fine, they got in, whatever, they beat Georgia. I just wanted to see the SEC teams shut out. But Casey, you made the comment that if say Florida State got in, they took one of those four spots. Your argument says they probably would have bumped Texas out just to put Alabama in.
I think so too. I think it's really hard because the committee is SEC bias.
Yes, they are.
That if you put in a one-loss Alabama who just knocked out the number one team, I think they'd put them in a Florida State, and if Florida State's quarterback's still healthy, so I think they bump a Texas.
Well, and if you're Georgia, you're sitting here going, we won 29 in a row. We're two-time defending champions. We lose by 3 with the controversial call that helped Alabama, hold on to the lead late in the game with a 4th and 4 that should have been an incomplete pass. We deserve to be in. We deserve to be in just as much as what Alabama does. They were number 1 all season long. So.
And Jim Molitor in here with his bold challenge picks already in.
Yeah,
I haven't even.
He's just grabbing. He's grabbing the sheet.
Oh, he's just grabbing the sheet.
He's just grabbing the sheet.
One thing I said too on Saturday after all the games got done, I was talking with people and I said I wouldn't be surprised if they put Georgia in and Alabama just because.
Right.
One, you get Georgia's lone loss came in, like you said, in the SEC championship game on a controversial call, and plus, I figured they give them a shot to three-peat. It's never happened before.
Right.
So I mean, that's just going to draw if you're, talking money-wise, that's going to draw a lot of people.
And money talks. Money runs everything. That's the reason why we're getting all the consolidations of conferences and everything else.
You bring up that little stat that they don't have a chance to three-peat. So who is, the trivia question this week, who is the only three-peat winner in NCAA college football?
Do you want us to answer now?
Well, do you know it?
I'm going to guess, but I'm going to say it's probably your favorite team in Notre Dame.
No.
The Four Horsemen. Okay.
No.
Okay. I thought maybe you pulled that trivia up so that you could, be proud of.
I actually found this the other day. I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" It's a team you'd probably never ever guess. We'll reveal at the end.
Okay.
So anyway,
like Yale or something like that.
Iowa taking on Tennessee in the Citrus / Cheez-It Bowl. I think that's both of them. So, and then Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl taking on Memphis. That's a repeat of 2017. I was in Memphis for that game. Fantastic place to go, and got to have the barbecue down in Memphis. But what do you think about the Iowa Bowl game?
I don't mind. I know a lot of talk before because they get kind of how they pick their bowl games. It's pretty much the same 2 conferences play, and it depends on where you finish.
Right.
I think a lot of people are happy with Tennessee because I think a lot of the talks was potentially Ole Miss, but Ole Miss got a New Year's 6. So, if I'm Iowa, I'd much rather play Tennessee than I would Ole Miss.
Right.
But I still think Tennessee is good. They probably don't have the offense they did last year. Iowa's defense could stop them. And last time Iowa played Tennessee in a bowl game, it was not pretty.
Right.
It was not pretty.
Yeah, I will. This is hard for me to say. I don't count Iowa out now. They impressed me so much with their defense against Michigan the other night because I really thought Michigan would be able to come in and wear them down and run the football on them and wear them down and eventually make that game even uglier than the final score indicated. But the fact that their defense hung tight and shut Michigan down, they hold them to a little over 200 yards of total offense, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I give Iowa a chance to win that game. I do.
Because of their defense. I mean, they can shut down anybody. It's just that their offense is so bad. I mean, just so bad.
But I'm not saying that this is a good thing, but I think if you look at the offense compared to the first start of the season to now, I think they're in a lot better position to score.
Yeah.
I think they just ran into a really good Michigan team.
Yeah. Hill actually, I think, is playing his best football right now.
He's playing way better than the first few games he was out there. So.
Yeah, when you couldn't tell if he was trying to throw it to the open space in the field or to the
he was throwing it to an area code rather than a receiver out there. So I do like it gives Iowa, a win to hang their hat on because so far, what's their biggest win of the year?
Iowa State.
State? Yeah, I would argue that probably.
Right now.
Yeah. Well, they only played 2. Well, not counting Michigan, of course.
They played Penn State, they played Michigan.
Yeah.
And didn't score a point against either one of them.
Right, yeah. Iowa State's probably their only other good team that they played because and then I'm not, like I said,
Wisconsin,
Nebraska was in the West, but Wisconsin wasn't any good this year. Minnesota wasn't any good. Nebraska was, 5-7. The West was not real good.
Yeah. So I think it's a great way to end the season and try to pick up that win for Iowa. Iowa State, on the other hand, I mean, really nothing to play for here. I mean, you're playing Memphis, the Tigers in Memphis, and yeah, it's kind of a cool little bowl game, and it's close enough for Iowa State fans to go to, but you don't really gain much out of that. It's kind of like last year when Iowa played Kentucky. I didn't like that matchup for Iowa either, and I don't like this matchup for Iowa State.
Yeah, the thing I like for them is and the reason why I wish Nebraska could get to a bowl game, it's the extra practices for the young guys, and especially with Iowa State having played so many young guys. If they can get everybody to play and not enter the transfer portal or not decide to sit out the bowl game, then I think it'll be beneficial. Win or lose, it's going to be beneficial. But I always say that a win in the bowl game puts you into the offseason in a good mood and good spirit. So I still think winning your bowl game. I know a lot of people out there say, the bowl games don't matter anymore. But to me, you're still playing the game of football. It's still a game. I think every game matters.
I would rather play a Power 5 team than somebody out of the what is that, the American.
I'm going to warn you about Memphis. They have a really good quarterback.
Yeah, they do.
Memphis' quarterback is
They've
really
always
good.
had a good offense. Their defense is a little suspect out there. So anyway, otherwise, there's just there's movement going on. Ohio State's quarterback entered the portal. Oklahoma's did. Dylan Gabriel. They said he could walk away with a $2 million NIL deal from somebody wherever he lands.
Somebody blamed that on Matt Rule. They're like, as soon as Matt Rule said that the high profile quarterbacks are worth $1.5 to $2 million, every high profile quarterback in the nation decided to go out there and see what they can get. So, but you're
not guaranteed the next level, so make it now.
Yeah, you had about 10 different quarterbacks yesterday that jumped into the portal, and quite a few high caliber ones. Yes,
I feel for Ohio State's quarterback. He's gotten so much crap thrown at him this year from fans because he hasn't played good in big games. But I sit here and look.
They beat Notre Dame.
He still threw for 3,000 yards, had a lot more touchdowns than interceptions.
24-6.
Completed over 63% of his passes. It's his first year starting.
Yeah.
What? You're 11-1.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You get basically run out of town.
Yeah.
I would think you and I would both take those kind of numbers from a quarterback.
Sure.
I guarantee you that.
For sure.
It's like the anti-Iowa quarterback. Right?
If you put him on Iowa, Iowa's undefeated probably.
Nebraska goes bowling with a quarterback.
Exactly.
I mean, you think about it. Nebraska had 31 turnovers this year, and 20 of them were from their quarterback position. You take that away, and all those one-score losses were probably a 9-win team.
Yeah, that dream of a bowl game continues for Nebraska.
7 straight years. Give me as much crap as you can.
All right, guys, let's talk a little local sports. By the way, just to put a little more pressure on you, Jeff Honnold has already correctly answered the question.
He has.
The trivia question.
He has Google. God, we know he's not smart enough to come up on it on his own.
I'm not gonna say he cheated at all. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to. It's Honnold.
Where do you want to begin? Let's talk about the boys' swim team. They dominate. They have been absolutely great this year.
Yeah, they have. 110 of the 11 events Saturday over at the Boone event. Now, the Boone one's different because everything is swum as a relay. So all your individual events technically are swum as two-person relays and stuff. But still, it shows the depth they have and to dominate it the way they did. Marshalltown finished in second, 47 points, and Carroll won it with 81 points. So many different guys swimming well for them, and I jotted down the names here so I wouldn't forget anybody. Kyle Sundrup, Legan Cease, Ty Thomas, Tegan Renzi, Tristan Blair, Landon Cadwell, Weston Toff, Jacob Graving. All those guys went out and won pretty much every event they were in on Saturday. So they're swimming really, really well.
So they just absolutely dominated. 11 out of 12.
Yes.
That's crazy. I don't think I've ever heard that before in a swim meet.
Yeah, but I think if I remember right, the dual meet that they were at last week was Spencer and Fort Dodge. They won every event that night.
So they set the bar pretty high for themselves.
Yes, they have. I know Coach Danner's really excited about this group, though.
So how about
really excited
from one dominant program to another one? The Coon Rapids Baird win the other day for the girls.
Absolutely annihilated a ranked Caminita team on the road. I think it was like 24-2 or something like that. It wasn't that bad, but they held them to 2 in the first quarter and were up by double digits, and then just never really left them back into the basketball game. We thought that team could be special, and right now they're even, I think, exceeding what we thought they would be.
Their press is tough to beat.
Yep.
Watching them play, I think I had them last Tuesday against Arweva. Their press is tough to beat. They turn you over, and they have the athletes too. After you turn it over, they can get out and transition like that. It's quick.
Great speed and length. They've got so many girls with long arms that can just create havoc in passing lanes, and they anticipate well. And I think the scary thing maybe for the Rolling Valley Conference is, and she's an amazing player, an amazing athlete, but Braylee Clayburgh's the only senior that really sees a ton of time. They're really led by a sophomore group. Lydia Hoffbauer, another senior that really helps them, but you're only graduating a couple of girls that see a lot of minutes. I forgot about Lydia for a second, but you're led by a bunch of sophomores.
Yeah. One thing that I find crazy too is that when I was down there, and I think I haven't looked at stats from when they beat Cam, but it wasn't Braley. It was a lot of Malia, and Lydia got her shot off too. And one thing I find interesting is watching them from last year this year. Lydia Hoffbauer is a different player too.
Yes.
Because talking with Coach McAllister, she was telling her in the offseason, you have to find a way to attack the basket more. She was just kind of a person that liked to shoot a lot of jumpers. Well, she got to the basket. Arweva scored 11 points. I'm not sure what she did. I can't remember quite what she did against Cam. But if you have an aggressive Malia Clayburgh, an aggressive Lydia Hoffbauer, Hannah Hart, who's jumping passing lanes, teams don't have to. You can't focus on Braley all the time.
Yeah, and Braley 2 years ago was their whole offense, and now all of a sudden they've got all these other kids that are helping them out. And I'm glad. We don't want to forget about Lydia because she's really playing well here to start the season.
Take a look at the conference. Are they head and shoulders the conference leader there?
They're going to get tested next week.
Yep.
They got Exira, who should be ranked in 1A, but they're in 2A.
Yep.
And then they have Woodbine, who was preseason 5.
Yes, and still ranked. Yeah, the Exira Elkhorn Kimballton story here real quick. Of course, they've got Audubon down there with them. They only gained one girl that's playing and another girl that's injured that will be on the team later this year. So they petitioned the state to be able to stay 1A, and the state granted that. And then they got ranked in the preseason poll. And from what I gather, there was enough complaints because other teams have been in this situation, other schools have been in this situation where they've combined, not really had kids from one of the schools, and they've had to play up. So after the first week of the season, the state got a hold of Exira Elkhorn Kimballton and said, sorry, you're 2A this year, not 1.
Wow, to change that after the season began.
So they've bumped them back up to a 2A team. So they won't be ranked now, at least probably for now, in 2A. But, but still, they may not be in the rankings, but that's still a really good team.
Yeah. How about also in girls basketball? Let's talk about that. Who's playing well? What teams are going well right now?
I've been happy with the way the Carroll girls have played here to start the season. I think they're playing well. I think they'll be tested again tonight against North Polk. So we'll see a little bit more where they're at. East Sac girls playing really, really well right now, sitting undefeated on actually one loss on the year, lost their opener to Storm Lake, which I think a lot better than anybody realizes. And then, they've kind of picked up a few wins since then.
Yeah, I think Kemper girls kind of surprising, I think, with how they struggled, trying to find themselves offensively, I think, still here in the early season, but Coach Klink will get that worked out. I think last year you saw them struggle at the beginning as well, and they kind of picked themselves up and were playing their best basketball towards the end of the season.
Turnovers right now really hurting them. 29 the other day in a loss to Denison Schleswig on the road, up 10 midway through the third quarter and get outscored like 28-10 the rest of the way, and a lot of that was because of turnovers. I tweeted, both teams were ugly in the first half. I tweeted out at halftime, there's been more turnovers between the two teams than points scored in the first half, as each team scored 3 points in the second quarter. Denison Schleswig came on a three-pointer from the baseline with under 30 seconds left in the half, and Kemper got a free throw at the 3:48 mark for their first points of the second quarter.
Wow.
So, and it wasn't because a ton of missed shots. It was like turnover fest. You'd come down and turn it over, and then the other team go down and turn it over. So
Harlan coming in the night. Preview that game for us.
Harlan girls are good. So Kemper girls are going to have to.
It's the Harlan of old.
Yep. So Kemper's going to have to play well and not turn the ball over and handle it well. And I think they'll get some shots. Lauren Bell had a big game for him the other day. So if they can get some shots to fall and not turn the ball over, they'll have a shot in this game, but it's certainly not going to be easy. Wanted to mention as well the Glidden Ralston girls. I know they suffered their first loss last night, but had been sitting 2-0 prior to that. So,
close game with Woodward Granger last night. I know that they struggled to shoot against Wes Harrison. They came back against Peyton Chardin, shot the ball well. I think Cassidy Wink has been a bright spot for him. I know talking with Coach Kaler, I knew that she told Cassidy she's going to have to score the basketball, look for a shot a little bit more. But I don't know if they quite saw the rebounding that she's put up so far. I think she's had a double-double almost in every game so far. I mean,
didn't have one last night.
17 and 17. Right. And I think she had 10 and 11 the night I was there with Peyton Chardin, and then I don't know what she did last night.
Yeah, last night I think they had her for 8. Now those were unofficial numbers, but I think they had her for 8, and we'll find out the official numbers. But she's playing really well, and I talked with Coach yesterday. That interview available online, but she did certainly kind of mention that Cassidy has kind of replaced, in a way, not that you ever replace somebody, but replaced the numbers in a way that Paige Clucky had given them the last couple of years. And I think Coach was happy to see that, kind of thought maybe there was the possibility, but didn't maybe expect it right away as what she's done here so far.
All right, so we're going to have to move on here. We got to talk a lot more. There's a lot of wrestling that we want to get to, some boys basketball as well. It's KCIM Sports Rewind, brought to you exclusively by St. Anthony Rehab Services.
As the athletes at your house prepare for hard work and fun of the season, remember that St. Anthony Rehab Services provides physical therapy for any sports injury that may sideline your member of the team. Sports injuries can plague kids of all ages and keep them from playing the sport they love. Athletes will be under the direct supervision of a certified and licensed healthcare professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
This is KCIM Sports Rewind, and once again, Sports Director Jeff Blankman, Assistant Sports Director Casey Miners, and myself, John Ryan. And Jeff Honnold's already answered the trivia question, so pressure's on.
Yeah. Now
Georgia will not three-peat, and there's only one team that has three-peated.
Well, he's probably old enough to remember and probably saw it. That's probably part of the reason.
I don't think so. I think this was long enough ago that I don't think Jeff was even a thought about them.
Okay.
All right, let's talk. You did a little video over the weekend, girls wrestling down in Audubon. We had a whole bunch of teams down there, and you posted a video online. You didn't get a chance to tag all the girls because it would have gone on forever there.
Yeah.
But, man, lots of people checking out that video.
Yeah, went down. All 5 of our area girls wrestling teams wrestled down at Audubon on Saturday, and everybody wrestled well. We didn't get any individual champions out of it, but I think Carroll had to be really pleased with the way they did. South Central Calhoun wrestled well. I thought East Sac, for not having a lot of numbers, wrestled well. Kemper, again, only 4 girls. They had some girls do really, really well. A lot of second-place finishes down there on Saturday. But, yeah, I got a chance to shoot some video while I was down there, kind of stay on the edge of the mats and stuff, and put together a highlight video. I think it's like 2.5 minutes long or something like that, but threw it out on our CB Sports Network Facebook page and YouTube channel and Twitter yesterday, as well as on our CB Sports Network Instagram. And I know the Instagram one is where a lot of the kids find it, and it really seemed to kind of take off. So.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned not a lot of champions, a lot of second places, but Evelyn Kramer wrestled well. Julia Canny wrestled well, and Olivia Mack, just to name a couple. Grace Huffman down there for Kemper. So I think it was good because a lot of these girls are probably going to see each other come state tournament time and just throughout the season as we go.
Yeah, you mentioned Grace Hoffman. I got to laugh. 2 things from shooting the video on Saturday. You try to sometimes get it where they don't catch you because, like she's pacing around, focused, getting ready to go on to her, or to her match, which is the next one up. So you're trying to shoot her and get a little video of her walking around and getting that, that game face, I guess, if you want to call it. And all of a sudden she notices me and she stops and does this smile and the old peace sign. And I'm like, man, I hope I just didn't break her focus because I was trying to hide and get the video. And then for the ESAC girls, I got to tease them a little bit. They kept covering their face every time that they saw the camera getting turned their direction and stuff. So a few of those got into the highlight video because I thought it was kind of fun seeing them trying to duck and hide and cover themselves up. Yeah.
So the girls had a good weekend. The boys wrestling over the weekend. Carroll High is really
what a start to the year that they have had so far. You go over and you beat a ranked Webster City team and kind of handle them. You knock off Boone that night as well. Now, I know I talked with Coach Noggle Saturday, and he said Webster City's not what they were last year. They're down, but they're still good, and that's still a really good win. And then you go over to the DCG tournament, and you finish third over there, and you get a couple of champions in Cooper Ludwig and Owen Clucky. That's a really good sign.
I want to point out Owen Clucky and Cooper are off to tremendous starts to start the year. Owen Clucky came in not ranked. He's 6-0. To start the year. Same with Cooper. I think Cale had a good weekend. Didn't become a champion. I think he second or third is what he got, but still had a great weekend. And Carroll finished better than a lot of teams that are, because they wrestled 2A. And there was quite a few 3A schools there that Carroll finished ahead of. So
this is. Last year was a really good year. This one's got a chance to be a really special year for Carroll. Jake Earlbeck, a champion for Kemper as well, where they were at. South Central Calhoun had 3 champions this weekend up at Manson with Colin Folsom, Brock Natras, Jace Peterson, and then got to mention Charlie Veit from East Sac, a champion. This is a guy that was injured during football season. They said his football season was done, possibly was going to need surgery, and that he was probably not going to be able to wrestle this year. Well, he got some therapy done, has decided that he's going to battle through the pain the best that he can. Need surgery at some point, but he's battling through the pain. He finished up the football season, played the last couple of games when he got cleared by the doctors, and now he's wrestling. And he's got a shoulder that you can't really put much weight on, and he goes out and wins the championship on Saturday. That tells you how special Charlie Veit is.
On one bum shoulder,
Yes. Yeah, and in wrestling, you wrestled. You know how bad. You know how important.
I didn't wrestle very well for very long.
But you know how important shoulders on. You're on your shoulders a lot. So I
think Braden Burns wrestled well too.
Yep, he did.
He's off to a good start, and those two kind of power that ESAC County team. They have other great guys as well. There, but those two kind of the two that jump out at you.
And Ottoman had a good showing down at Harlan's tournament over the weekend. And Coon Rapids Bayard, I talked with Coach Patrick yesterday. His interview available, posted online. But he's really happy. Young guys, he's liking the aggressiveness that they're going out and wrestle with. And he mentioned trainer Coase, Johnny Cortez, another guy that won 3 matches the other day and is wrestling well for them. So
big tournament coming up this weekend. Carroll, Kemper, and ESAC boys at the Ogden Invitational.
Yes, going to try to get over to that tournament for a little while on Saturday morning. I do have the basketball game that I've got to broadcast, so I won't be able to stay over there all day. I know that frustrates wrestling people at me a little bit sometimes, but it's the job, folks.
Can't be everywhere all at once.
Yes, so let's talk about 2 if you could.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the Cardiac Kids, the Carroll Tiger boys basketball team. They seem to love these close games at the end, don't they?
Yeah, and what a thriller last Tuesday in their last second overtime win against the Kemper Knights.
Which is still on YouTube, by the way, if anybody wants to go check that out.
Yeah, you can go back and watch the entire game and then watch that overtime. But, what a finish. Kemper give them a lot of credit, made some plays late to give themselves a chance after being down early and looking like they were maybe out of the game right at the very beginning. And then Evan Hammer fade away, banked shot in the middle of the lane at the horn to win it.
And I don't know if I called it a fade away. It was a fall down.
A fall down, yes.
One thing to point out is that he played over half that game probably with a bum leg too.
Yes, cramping up and just the effort that young guy goes out and plays with. And then, the one thing that jumped out to me was in the post game, him and DJ Vanami had went after each other all game long because they were guarding each other. They both come up for post game. And DJ's sitting as I'm wrapping up with Todd Dander, who helped me do the game and stuff to get ready to go to the break. And Evan comes up and he sees DJ, and those two get up and they embrace. And it was a well respected embrace. And then both of them made a comment about, we all play together as kids, and we travel together, and then we play against each other in the rec and play against. They're friends. They really like each other, and I think that's really cool because when you get out on the court, it was, we're not friends anymore. It's we're trying to win, and then off of the court, it was really cool to see the respect between the kids there between those two schools.
Well, the two just elevate each other at that point, and
absolutely.
all those kids do. So.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when one's playing good, you want to play to the elevation of that one, and DJ is just a terrific athlete himself, and I think when Evan started as a sophomore at Carroll, you saw glimpses of what he could be, but I don't know if anybody really thought that he could be as dominant on the boards he is right now and scoring down low.
Yeah, and we certainly know he got his talent from Mom because he didn't get it from Eric. We'll just say that. I say that because Eric sent me a text the other night, and he goes, "Appreciate you didn't give me any guff about my golf game during the game the other night." I'm like, well, the game was a little too close to be calling you out, but I'll call you out today on Rewind.
How about anybody else standing out boys basketball-wise? Teams, players?
Coon Rapids Bayard looking really, really good to start the year. Cal Hayden's playing well for them. Cade Barron's playing well for them. I think they're a different team if they can get Parker Hayes going at the point guard position.
I will say this, talking to Corey yesterday, they need to get out to better starts in the first half.
Right.
They're 3-0, but in all 3 games they've been down at half.
Right.
So, he said it's just been shooting, and I think it's a mindset. Into the first half, they're just kind of relaxed, tentative to take shots. Because he said they've shot way better. If you look at their numbers in the first half compared to the second half, they're night and day differences.
Yes.
Peyton Jordan, I've had a chance at just talking player. Trevin Keeley from Peyton Jordan is a tremendous athlete.
Yes.
They lost to Glidden Ralston on Friday, but he was the best player on the court,
Right.
and it was noticeable. Me and Todd talked about it multiple times. Peyton Jordan might get their bumps this year, but Trevin Keeley's going to keep him in some games.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to get a chance to see him play. You mentioned Glidden. I want to throw out Jonathan Bergmeyer and Charles Schoen playing well for them. East Sac County playing really, really good basketball right now. Got a nice win against South Central Calhoun on Friday night. They've got a real big test coming up Thursday with OABCIG. That's a really athletic team, but I like the way they're playing right now as a group. Ryan Clare the other day, was it 24 and 17 or something like that, or
24. He had 24 and 15 last week. I wasn't sure what he did against South Central Calhoun, but he's up to a great start. He had a great freshman year last year.
Yep. Yeah, he's special. Emmett Newman the other day from Arweva, 27 and 8 for them, and stuff. So a big game for them. And then South Central Calhoun boys. It'll be interesting to see how they kind of get things going a little bit. Struggling right now. Lost last night. They're sitting 0-3. And then also wanted to mention Kemper's really nice bounce back win Tuesday. Dennis and Schleswig and them were preseason favorites to win the Hawkeye 10. It was kind of everybody's choices, and they just went over, and it wasn't even close.
I'd say that's a statement game because the final wasn't even. It was 86-68.
It wasn't close 3 minutes into the ball game. They came out right away and clearly were the better team on the court. Now the bad thing was that wasn't the conference game. The conference game's later this year here at Kemper, but so it doesn't count as the conference win for them. But kind of a statement game. I even asked Coach Minahan in the postgame. I says, was this kind of sending a notice to the rest of the conference that we're here this year? And he's like, yeah, we wanted to win it last year and came up short of our goal. He goes, we want the conference this year. So they're verbal about the fact that they want to win that conference.
This isn't knocking on the win, but I know talking to Todd Dennison, with how bad they've played boys, they're sitting 0-3 right now. It's kind of surprised some people. Yeah,
it has. Yeah, OAB, CIG, Storm Lake, and now Kemper, and they've kind of been handled in all of those. So.
Okay, Hawkeye 10, the Harlan Cyclones coming to town tonight, taking on the Kemper boys.
That'd be good.
Preview that matchup for us.
It's Harlan, so they're going to be good.
I was a little shocked when you said Dennis and maybe Kemper were the favorites.
Yeah,
and Harlan wasn't in that conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be, as will probably Lewis Central by the end of things, because it seems like those schools are always there. But yeah, I just think with what Kemper and Dennison were bringing back, everybody thought they were just above. But yeah, you got to show up against Harlan, that is for sure.
All right, where's the video that people can find about the girls wrestling, the highlights?
You can go to the CB Sports Network Instagram. You can also go to the CB Sports Network Facebook page, Twitter page, and to our CB Sports Network YouTube channel. So it's available in 4 different places. Or my Facebook and my Twitter as well.
Only about 15, 20 places you can find that video online. Yes. So that'll do it for this week. That's KCIM Sports Rewind, except for, you're just pointing at me, the trivia question. Okay, so who was the only three-peat football champion?
I'm not going to attempt. I wouldn't. I don't know.
You said that I'm not going to get it. I'm going to say Minnesota.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say Minnesota.
You've seen that before?
No, I've seen it before, not today, of course, but I do remember that I think it was back in the 30s or the 20s or something that Minnesota had a big run of winning national championships.
1934 to 1936, so I doubt Honnold was around then.
Close.
And he claims he's got no internet service, although he's been texting me the whole time.
Yes, yeah. We know.
We'll just leave it at that. You threw that accusation out there. I'm just going to let that hang for the next week or so. That is KCIM Sports Rewind.